Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I welcome both you and your ears to an episode of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. In case you're wondering who Angie is, I'm Angie, and I'm super stoked to spend some time sharing with y'all some of my experiences and thoughts on living, loving, music, and space travel, or spiritual experiences as I often refer to as space travel. A rather broad spectrum, right? Well, my hope is to always share something that resonates with, intrigues, excites, or perhaps inspires you. On that note, I invite you to sit back, buckle up, and take a little trip out into the cosmos with me. Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I'm back with episode number 7. Holy moly, it's been a week. Another week has passed since my last recorded episode. Another week of this earthly experience has flown by. It's really pretty amazing how quickly time flies by. Having fun or not, really. It may seem slower when times are really challenging and tough, but in all reality, time flies, whatever time is. The construct of time I was suggested earlier this week by a wise young woman that I should have that as an episode, time constructs or something like that. Anyway, I had to ask her actually what that was, and she knew all about it. Smart young woman. That being said, here I sit on a Monday evening. I'm not sure when you'll be listening to this episode, but right now in my world, it's Monday evening. It's 11:24 p.m. to be exact, on the East Coast. And I've actually been sitting here for quite some time in front of the computer trying to figure out just exactly what I wanted to talk about. As mentioned, a week has flown by, and what's really been on my mind, just to sort of jump into things, music has been on my mind a lot. I think it's because April is really the beginning of, I feel like it's going to be a real musical summer for me, and April starts my musical journey next Monday, right before my next episode. I'm going to see Brit Floyd at the Wilson Center. I am super excited. I have great tickets. It's a real small theater. For those of my friends who are in Colorado, I compare it to something like the Villar Center. It's an inside sort of formal setting, but I have seen Brit Floyd there. Actually, that's where I saw them for the first time. And they were spectacular. And I venture to guess they're going to be spectacular again. And I did get the VIP tickets, so I get to go in and hear 2 songs that will not be in the performance. I'm really excited about the whole thing. So anyway, I think that's where I'm kind of going to focus a little bit, sort of placing things around the idea of what soothes the savage beast within me. For me, what soothes me is music. Music straight up soothes this savage beast. And at times I can truly be savage. I am a Leo the lion. And even though I'm quite often like the thorn in my toe kind of lion, I can be fairly savage at times. And music has been such a powerful form of medicine for me. I've been thinking a lot, taking a journey down my musical memory lane, thinking back as far as, well, my first concert was actually, well, my dad would probably say and has told me before that I saw the Grateful Dead when I was 2, which explains a lot and fits perfectly with the way the rest of my musical life has gone. But I don't remember that concert. So I have never really thought of that as my first concert. The first concert that I vaguely recall seeing was Men at Work. And I grew up in upstate New York, and my dad we went and stood in line for tickets. Stood in line for tickets at Saratoga Performing Arts Center, SPAC, for those of us familiar with the arena. We stood in line and ended up, we were getting 4 Men at Work tickets. Ends up, we got 3 Men at Work tickets and a Grateful Dead ticket. I had no idea at that point still who the Grateful Dead were. I think maybe I was 15, 16, something like that. And so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was my dad, myself, and my cousin Denise who went to the concert. But I don't really remember anything about it other than that standing in line moment. And I got a rush from that. There were tons of people in line, standing in line for all kinds of tickets, because tickets went on sale, I believe, for all the summer concerts that were lined up at the same time. I know that that's kind of what I get from a concert. Being in a space with so many people, there's something really powerful about it. The buzz of energy, everyone there waiting to get tickets for their favorite band. And there's nothing like being at a concert where we're all excited about seeing the same band and putting out all the energy for a live musical performance that we're hoping will live up to what we're hoping for. Yeah, it's really been cool, because I have been thinking to myself most of the week that I was going to put together an episode that was sort of focused on music. My heart swells up with gratitude for the performers who really put themselves out in a very authentic manner and share themselves with us. Music, I remember, I don't remember the first album or cassette that I bought, and I think in my day it would have been a cassette. But I do recall the first lyrics that I learned. Don't you want me? Those were the first lyrics that I ever remember learning. Human League. And I read a lot of Guitar Magazine. I think maybe it was Don Henley's Dirty Laundry also. I definitely memorized the lyrics to that song. I used to read a lot of guitar. I don't play an instrument. I have tried instruments in my life. I played the piano for a little while, did not do so well at it. I took flute lessons, did not do so well, really struggled with my teacher at the time. I sang in chorus, and as time has gone by, I think my musical instrument has been my voice. I do like to sing. At times, I think I sing better than I have at other times. My dad had a karaoke DJ business for a while, so it was really great. I would go out for his nights and sing it up. And even prior to that, we actually would go out for karaoke and sing together quite a bit. We do a pretty darn good version of Proud Mary, I must admit. Haven't been out for a while. We might need to do that soon. There is something really wonderful about singing. And I think if I was able to go back and have a talent, something that I haven't honed in on at this point in my life, it would be to be a singer, to really have a voice and have a tool to express myself in a manner that I'm not really capable of doing these days. So music, just putting it out there. It's like, what soothes your savage beast, the savage beast within y'all? I feel like music has to be important for everyone. Now, we don't all like the same music. I was actually working with a fellow coworker, and I asked him what his favorite type of music was. And he thought about it for a little while, and he said, the romantic era. I didn't know what that was. I thought to myself, I said, oh, like Frank Sinatra and that kind of stuff. And he said, oh no, going back to like a classical area of music. And I thought, geez, there's a whole avenue, a whole chapter of music that I had not even tapped into. Music, I think, affects all of us in some way, shape, or form. I have these memories of falling in love with music at different times. I played basketball in high school, and one of my teammates, actually, I think she might have been, I did play on the varsity team. She was a few years older than me, but she loved the Doors. Shout out to my friend Amy. I won't give a last name out there, but she loved the Doors. And the truth was that I wanted her to like me. I wanted to be friends with everybody on the team. And so I started listening to the Doors, and lo and behold, I fell right in love with Jim Morrison. There's nothing like him as a performer. And if I could see a band for sure that I could not see today, it would be the Doors. As crazy as they were, and as crazy as he was, Jim in particular, I would have loved to have seen them perform. An old boyfriend of mine, I remember his mother telling me that at the RPI Fieldhouse in upstate New York, she saw the Doors, Jimi Hendrix, and Janis Joplin. Oh my goodness, all in one night. That would be... there's Woodstock, I suppose, something similar, but what a performance, what an evening that would be. I mean, there aren't too many bands out there that I missed out on. Well, I lie. I never got to see Prince. I would have loved to have seen Prince. I never got to see the Beastie Boys together. I would have loved to have seen them. I think I've mentioned they really did put out a great book. The Beastie Boys book, I think is what it's called. And it was a spectacular journey through their experience. They started out as a punk band and grew into this pretty phenomenal trio. Well, I think there were 4 of them, if we include their DJ as well, of course. Who else? I'm sure there are different bands out there that I haven't seen that I would love to see. And hopefully in the next, wherever I go after this earthly experience, I'll transition into something that provides me the opportunity to see all these performers if they're still performing. The great gig in the sky. Yes, tying it right back to Pink Floyd. I do look forward to seeing. I would love to see Pink Floyd all together. I don't think that will happen. I have been able to see Roger Waters perform some of the stuff off of Dark Side of the Moon, and he was great as well. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him. And then at the end of this month, that brings me back to Jazz Fest, as I've been talking about pretty regularly. As mentioned, very unfortunate that the Foo Fighters will not be performing. I'm just going to go ahead and give another shout out to them and their family members for the loss of Taylor Hawkins, and just a very unexpected and tragic loss for sure. They were performing as the Sunday closing band of the first weekend, and they are on hiatus now. So that does open up. I'm sort of secretly hoping that the band that was originally going to close out the weekend will come back, and that was Dead & Company. Grateful Dead, not now, Dead & Company, the latest incarnation of them. They're another band that I started listening to, all for a boy. I had a crush on a boy in high school, and I started listening to them. Lo and behold, I fell in love with the Grateful Dead after listening to American Beauty. Oh, a fantastic album, as most of you out there, I'm sure many of you out there know. And the Grateful Dead have been a huge part of my life since then. Today, I got my email alerts for tickets go on sailing, the pre-sale tickets going on sale tomorrow, and I'm actually hoping that maybe I can go to Playing in the Sand and go see Dead & Company in Mexico. But they are playing around at some different places, coming back to Colorado, where I've been able to see them over the last few years prior to COVID, of course. I went to see them for 3 years in a row. Folsom Field, spectacular, really a spectacular venue as well. It did rain. The last time I saw them, it rained. It was pretty cold, and we were waiting out the hailstorm, and then it finally cleared. But what people will do to stick around, it's spectacular what takes place in the music world. It is. I mean, it's just interesting to me to reflect on how important music has been in my life, and what a difference it makes. During COVID, when everything shut down, oh my goodness, it was painful. Really, it was painful to not be able to go see live music for me. It was painful not only because of the music itself, but the camaraderie that comes along with it. It's been such a big deal. I know I mentioned last week, I think, in self-care, I don't know if it was in that episode, but I recall hanging out for 12 hours on a sidewalk with some friends waiting to get some tickets for the Grateful Dead. And my dad actually got me tickets, I believe, at one point for some of the shows at the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany, New York. I saw quite a few concerts there. I got to see Tom Petty and Lenny Kravitz when Lenny Kravitz came out with his Let Love Rule song. Oh my goodness. Dad got us front row center seats. I don't know how he got them or who he got them from, but that was a pretty life-changing performance as well. My friend Gamble and I actually went to see the Jerry Garcia band at the Nick also. And we had 11th row. I remember we had great seats, 11th row on the floor. And somebody came up to us and said, "Oh, we have some friends in your row. Would you mind changing seats with us?" And well, we thought, okay, I guess they can't be terrible seats because, they're on the floor and they're asking us if we want to change. So we thought, all right, we'll go ahead and change front row center. It was spectacular. The electricity went out at one point. Jerry spoke to us. He said, talk amongst yourselves. And it was, I don't know, just those moments of being with somebody else. And I do also remember a rather crazy evening at the Knickerbocker Arena going to see the Grateful Dead, and I had taken some acid and was pretty freaked out. We, again, had great seats on the floor, but I was having a moment, and I thought, oh my goodness, maybe Fire on the Mountain or something was playing, and I just thought, if there was a fire, I'm never going to get out of here. And so I had to leave, went outside, people booed me. Oh, but it felt so good to go outside, and we ran around the city in a acid haze, and it was pretty wonderful. I don't know how old I was then, but it was myself with John, Jim, Roman. I'm not sure who else was with us at that point, but I do recall it being an eventful evening, and we went back to see the rest of the shows, I think. Yeah, the musical journey, it's been quite an adventure. I'm reminded of the first time I went to see a concert after I quit drinking. Oh my goodness, when I was contemplating quitting drinking, I remember thinking, I'll never be able to go see a concert again. How am I going to go see live music? How am I going to be able to participate? That probably kept me from putting down the sauce for quite some time. And then I was living in Vail. Actually, I was living in Red Cliff at the time, outside of Vail. But we got tickets to go see Maceo Parker at Garton's, this crazy tiny little indoor amphitheater. Not an amphitheater, it was a bar. And Maceo Parker was playing, and I remember going and really dancing for the first time without drinking. It was a spectacular moment where music changed. And since then, I mean, what a gift it is to actually be able to go to a concert and not have to worry about getting drunk or passing out or missing the show or forgetting it or blacking out or whatever it is. And I don't have to pay for the, ridiculously priced beers on top of it. I just can't imagine a life without music. And it's pretty cool to think that this is just bringing up some other experience. I actually went to a concert in Utah with some friends, and one of them was deaf. And he went to the show, and they had a signer who stood on stage, and you could actually, at that point, I don't know if they still do it, but he was able to get up front right by the stage. And I remember him explaining how he could feel the music on, through his body. Music, maybe you can't hear it, but you can definitely feel the beat. And to be able to have somebody sign the lyrics, that's just, it's amazing to see what people do. Everybody seems to feel music in some way, shape, or form. And it does something to me anyway. It loosens me up. It takes me places. It takes me back, helps me to remember fond times. It can actually make me very emotional when I hear songs that remind me of someone. Actually, whenever I hear It's My Girl, I'm pretty sure it's The Temptations. Call me out if I'm wrong. But it always reminds me of my old girl, my old dog, Panda. I know it's not about a dog, but that's where it takes me every time I hear it. I think to myself, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. I just, and I miss Panda. And she's been gone for, oh my goodness, longer than she was alive. She lived to be 16, and she's been gone for a while, but still, every time that song comes on, it's not that I need it to think about her, but every time it comes on, I'm reminded of her. Music, it's really wonderful. I have this opportunity right now to sort of take some time to myself. I am working a lot, which is really why this Monday Brit Floyd show is very exciting to me. I feel like I'm going to get a break from this whole transition. As many of my listeners know, I am recently in North Carolina, having gone through some big life changes. Divorce, moved out of state, changing jobs, changing everything in my life changed. On April 20th, good old 420, it'll be 4 months since I left Colorado. I didn't think I'd ever leave there. I lived there for 27 years. Went for one winter, stayed for 27 years. I did. I lived in Eagle, not too far outside of Vail, and I had a ski pass. I had bought one this year for whatever reason. 27 years of being on the mountain. And now here I am in North Carolina, very close to the ocean and really enjoying it, but it is quite a transition. It's been a little while since I've been to see any live music. I haven't seen anything since I've been here, and I'm very excited. I was looking through my Poddecks. I think I've talked to you all about Poddecks. It's such a fantastic conversation starter, interview question. It offers all kinds of questions on all kinds of different topics for those of you who may have a podcast. Maybe you want to talk to your family and friends to get to know them better or have some conversation in your living room. But this one asked about, let's see, one of the decks talked about 3 favorite venues. And that's a pretty easy one for me. I should say I'm going to give out 4 favorite venues because my initial home venue was SPAC, Saratoga Performing Arts. And when I was growing up, 11th grade and up, maybe senior year and up, we went to see concerts all summer long. My high school boyfriend, John, and that would also have been Jim, Roman, Roddy, Jenny. There were a bunch of us who would go, and we saw concerts all summer. I saw Eric Clapton there, and Elton John, Heart, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Harry Connick Jr. Who else did I see? Oh, I can't even begin to name, actually. I saw the Steve Miller Band and Phil Collins. There's way too many for me to name. So SPAC would probably be in my top 4. Next to that is, of course, Red Rocks. I mean, spending 27 years in Colorado, for anyone who has never been to Red Rocks, it is a bucket list item for sure. There's just nothing quite like it, whether you have seats low or seats way up in the back. I actually, this past summer, a friend and I went to a few concerts, and we sat all the way in the back. You stand up all the way at the top. You overlook the city. Get the breeze on your face. It's a spectacular place to see music. The wind blows and the musical notes sort of blow along with it. The moon comes out. The way it shines on the Red Rocks, it's something definitely to be experienced. And then I would also lump right in there is the Vail, the Ford Amphitheater in Vail Village. It's a tiny little indoor-outdoor venue, and it's fantastic. I saw Bob Weir and the Wolf Brothers there this past summer, which was great. I saw the Jerry Garcia Birthday Band. I got to see the Trey Anastasio Band. They were spectacular. I mean, I've seen so much music there as well. Great sound, fantastic, pricing for the most part, pretty intimate, whether you sit under the cover or sit on the lawn. Great place to see a show for sure. What is that? Is that 3? Was that 3 or 4? Vail, the Gerald Ford Amphitheater, Red Rocks, Saratoga Performing Arts Center. I think that might be it, actually. We'll see if anything else pops up. I've been to quite a few other places, but those are definitely at the top of my list. Grateful. That's what I am. I'm grateful for music. What it gives me, the relief I feel. I go to a lot of music concerts by myself, not even having to have somebody else there. That's wonderful. I know I am there. Can really let loose. I can get lost in the music. That's exactly what I'm focusing on. And all kinds of music. I'm really open to pretty much everything and anything. I have to admit, I'm not a super fan of country music. Please don't hate me. I really enjoy some old gangster country music. What do they call it? Outlaw country music. I'm not as big of a fan of the pop country music. Maybe I just haven't listened to it. So I'm not a hater by any means. And I will stay open and listen to just about everything, as long as it moves me in some way, shape, or form. But if there was only, if I go to the Poddecks question, if you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would I choose? It would probably be the 60s, late 60s for sure, seeping into the early 70s. But the late 60s is classic rock. You can't go wrong with it. You cannot go wrong with the lyrics, the type of music that was played. There's so much stuff that came out of that time. So many spectacular bands, timeless music. Yeah, I would definitely stick back with the late 60s, mid to late 60s, even. All of the 60s, actually. That would probably be it if I was ever reincarnated back as a flower child. I think I'd love it for a while anyway. Guilty pleasures. Music is definitely one of my guilty pleasures. I have been contemplating going to see some different bands, flying around the world, who knows, to go see different bands. I don't have a problem with spending money on concert tickets. It makes me sad how expensive they've become these days with the fees. It's a grotesque, ridiculous process, and I know that it's not the bands, the venues adding on handling fees and all of that stuff. I really don't know what that's for. It bothers me, but ultimately, I think like some people will pay to go see sporting events. I'll pay to go see a musical event, because you only live once. So let's see here. I'm really kind of flying through this episode, focusing it, as mentioned, really on music, and thinking about how much of an act of self-care it is for me to go to a concert. I don't know. I've got the opportunity to possibly invite some people to the concert. I may just go by myself. We'll see how that comes about. But I would love to hear some of y'all out there, if anyone wants to send me an email and let me know what your first concert was, what your first album, cassette tape, VCR, or not VCR, CD. I think I've really, in truth, also kind of just thrown this out there. I have fallen in love with Spotify and being able to put together a Spotify playlist. I was listening to Pandora at first, but now I just use Spotify. I love that I can pick my favorite songs. I pay the monthly fee, whatever it is, $11 or something like that. I can put all my favorite songs on one playlist. I have a playlist that lasts for like 20 hours, I think. And, it has everything on it from, oh my goodness, my brain is not working well enough to tell you everybody that's on there. But there's a lot of people. I was able to put almost the whole Neil Young Decade album. That's one of my favorite albums. And I do have a rather large vinyl collection. It's actually in storage right now. So in the meantime, I listen to Spotify. Let it play out my favorite one-hit wonders, or just a compilation, really, from everyone from Barbra Streisand to Chris Cornell, all on one playlist. I love it. And I'm going to click that in with 420 will be 4 months, as I mentioned, that I've been here. I left Colorado on December 20th of 2021. And on April 20th of 2022, I'll have been here for 4 months. And that is actually the date. I'll kind of transfer over to the space travel section here quickly. That is the date that I'll be getting my ketamine infusion. It's been December 19th was the last time I had an infusion. So it's also been 4 months. I'm doing pretty well, but I'm going to go ahead and get a booster. And with that, when I went to my first infusion, I checked with my provider, Mandy, and I asked her if she had any suggestions. And she did say to me, she said, I suggest you don't watch any scary movies. I will preface all of this for anyone who is unfamiliar. I have talked about my long-standing kind of struggle with depression, PTSD, some trauma. And rather than taking a, quote, traditional journey with antidepressants and that sort of stuff, I opted to go the route of ketamine infusions. And I, talked to my long-term provider, my doctor, and my family, and it was not a decision that I made lightly by any means. So some of my past episodes will talk about it a little bit deeper, and I'll probably have an episode focused a little bit more on that, just to continue to put the message out there that perhaps it's an avenue some of you might want to take. It's been life-changing and life-saving for me, for sure. My depression is definitely eased. A lot of stuff has changed. My issues with fight, flight, fawn, freeze modes, my thinking, my ruminating thinking, so much has changed that it's really, I can't put it out all in one session. But anyway, I am having an infusion on 4/20, 4 months to the day in the 4th month on the same exact date. And I'll be listening to a Spotify playlist. And on Spotify, you can pull up a playlist, a ketamine playlist, which has introduced me to a whole different area of music that I was not familiar with and probably would not have dabbled in without it being an option to plug in, put my headphones on, sit back, and take my medicine. Anyway, that was kind of answering the question, which format do I prefer to listen to? Streaming, CD, cassette, or vinyl? Vinyl. Actually, I love them all. I listen to records. I have a cassette player in my car, and I listen to tapes in my car. I don't really listen to many CDs right now unless I'm driving in the car with my mom because her car has a CD player in it. My CD player broke. My parents have definitely been a huge influence on me regarding music. I grew up, they had and have a great vinyl collection. My mother still listens to vinyl records. One of her favorite bands is the Eagles. My dad will listen to all kinds of stuff as well. And so, which is why for Jazz Fest, the two first bands, I think the Lionel Richie is opening up Friday at Jazz Fest, who I'm super excited about seeing for sure. And then the Who is on Saturday. And the Sunday band has changed now, as mentioned, because the Foo Fighters have canceled. I'm looking forward to seeing who that band is, but I'm super stoked on seeing Lionel Richie and the Who. Most definitely two very opposite bands, along with every other jazz influence New Orleans style band that's playing. I'm excited. But my parents have definitely been an influence on me in the music world, and they still have they enjoy live music. They enjoy going to concerts. They still listen to a great selection of music. Dave Matthews Band and Journey. My dad's a big Journey fan also. That being said, we are sort of, and I feel like I have kind of definitely jabbered through this episode. I hope I haven't moved too fast, and it may be a little bit messy and discombobulated, but that's where I am in my head. And instead of judging myself, I hope y'all will just listen with me, hang with me through this episode, and we'll see where it takes us next week. But putting out there to you and suggesting to all of you, whatever your favorite music is, pull your records out or your cassette tapes or throw your earbuds in and listen to whatever your Apple or Spotify or Pandora playlist is and get lost in some music. Let it move you. I mean, it definitely moves me and soothes me. I listen to music at night when I'm sleeping, something to put me to sleep, something to wake me up. It's just, it's such a great gift, and the talent that is out there. I mean, I love to listen to some rap. I love Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I mean, all of it. There's just something in there. So find your music. Take a little time to sit and listen to your favorite artists. Let's see. What else do I have from this point? Thinking about life, love, music, and space travel. It's really been a wonderful month and a half. 7 episodes. This is number 7. I thank you all really for listening and for spending some time with me. I am excited, will continue to be excited about where this journey goes. I don't know what to expect. I've just started and I'm not giving up. I know that I have listeners, I think, all over the place. I don't know who actually has downloaded and listened to all the episodes completely, but I have somebody in Belgium who's listened to all 6 episodes, somebody in Japan who's listened to, I think, 2. There's been 2 downloads in Japan, 2 downloads in Spain, somebody in Australia, and then I've had numerous downloads here in the United States, especially in the state of Oregon. People in the state of Oregon, thank you. That's like where my most downloads are showing up. Oregon, and then Virginia, of all places. Then North Carolina, and Colorado's in like 4th place, I think. I don't know. I appreciate you all taking the time out to spend some time with me and allowing me to ease into wherever I'm going to go with this podcast. I like to think that maybe next week's episode will be a little more, I don't want to call it structured, but maybe it'll have a little more focus around, something that I'm talking about. I do really feel like I'm all over the place, but it's now 11:59 and I think it's time for me to go to bed. My little diggity dogs are sleeping on the bed in front of me, cozied up, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful to be able to be a part of y'all's life. And even though I don't know all of you, I like to think I know some of you who are listening, but I'm really grateful that you all are a part of my life. Until next time, listen to some music. Get lost in some music. I think it was Madonna. She's talking about music makes the people come together. Yeah. Talk to you again soon. Bye. So we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks so very much for listening. It's now time to reconnect to planet Earth and all that comes with living on the blue ball. I'd love to hear your ideas for future episode topics, along with any and all positive and or constructive feedback. Please feel free to contact me at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Thanks again for spending some time with me and allowing me to share myself with you. Until next time, please be gentle with yourselves, be kind to animals, and do all you can to allow your authentic selves to shine brightly.